So we'll call the call to order the Nashville Utility Service Board meeting, Friday, 11th, 10:02 a.m. Roll call. Jim Kramer here.
I'm Robert here.
Alan Brown.
What's great?
David Shalko. So. Approval of the minutes from last meeting. We're going to take a chance to review any changes, updates. Except we have.
June 20th.
Yep.
I'll make the motion to approve the 6/20/25 meeting minutes.
Awesome. Somebody second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. All right, adjustment requests. What do we got?
We're having to approve all but one, since it's commercial property for the water adjustment, but he did approve the sewer.
Okay.
Everything else was approved.
Yes, please.
Is this, Phyllis, is this mine you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's, should I stand?
It doesn't matter, whatever. What's your name, sir? Yeah.
My name is Jeff Tatum, and I rent a spot at the subject property. A studio, apartment, bathroom, and laundry room. And the bill came to me. The property is owned by Franklin Square LLC, which is commercial, but also has residential. It has month-to-month tenants. And it's not separately metered, so they have to, the bill goes to Franklin Square and then they allocate. I was allocated the bill in my personal residential spot. It took quite a while to locate the leak. And so Franklin Square, the owner of the property, which happens to be my two little children, they also own other properties around town, Washington Square, the Nest, a couple others. They own the property, but I paid rent to them. They got involved in the beginning because it wasn't separately metered. They had to locate the leak. It was very difficult to locate because the water was coming out in several different locations. And it turned out the leak was underneath, in my area, underneath the laundry room, but it was cooling underneath the concrete slab. It has gravel, about a 20-inch gravel base. And so it cooled up and then it started leaking out in several spots. In fact, I had called Robin because I thought it was leaking so much out where the meter was that I thought it might be on his side. And so they came out and checked and the meter wasn't on his side. And then the other several locations it was leaking around the perimeter of the foundation where it was leaking out from this rock base was checked out, and finally it was located. They had to cut through the concrete slab and they repaired the rupture with a plex, and then they put in a sub pump so that if there was leaks again, that it would cool underneath the slab. At any rate, the water bill came and I was allocated an exorbitant amount of money, so I applied for relief, some relief, to Phyllis, who turned it to this committee.
And we approved the sewer part of it, right?
Right, it's the water.
Which one is it?
It is account number.
8001.
Yes, 60048001.
Oh, that's all under.
It does, but we can't do commercial, so we
Right.
can't.
This is a residential.
So
Even though it was allocated to him. Section.
that's what I was just looking at to see how.
The property is on residential and it utilized both.
So is this the amount that's on here? Is this? Is that the full amount for the water bill, or is that his portion?
That is the portion of the credit. The $200.81 towards the water and $263.71 for sewer.
So that's his portion of it, not the full bill.
That would be
This
credit.
would be the credit to
Okay,
him,
I understand. But it's, but,
but it's not the full bill. No.
okay.
What was the full bill? Do you know?
Well, there, although it's not separately metered, the whole,
Your portion.
every unit, but there's about 3 meters on there, so I don't know
Yeah.
all 3 of their meters total, but I think that their water bill that they were allocating normally would be around 300, and these bills would come in around 800. Roughly. The water company printed them out, and I think they put them in the file, but I haven't seen the file.
I don't know. Does anybody have any concerns? I mean, I feel like we should be able to treat the residential part as the residential piece of it.
I think
I
so.
don't see anything that says we just can't.
I'm still kind of confused. We're already crediting him 464, is that correct?
No, we're crediting him the sewer.
Oh, the 263. So he's looking for a 200.
Well, it wouldn't be full 200, right? It'd be, or is that the amount?
That would be the amount of the water adjustment if we gave that to him. So he would be credited that amount.
But that's not the full amount. It's based
No,
on
we're,
some.
it's just gonna be a fraction of what.
But let's make a motion.
I mean, so that is. It falls under that.
I think we, I mean, unless you tell me, you think otherwise, I think we can treat the residential part as the residential.
Yeah.
Bill, I think.
Well, then I'll make a motion to approve crediting in that amount,
200.
$200.81.
I'll second
And the sewer.
No.
And the,
Yeah.
sewer.
I'll second it.
Is that just per month or just all together? The 200 bills, I didn't know.
Well, it's $464.52 altogether. That you'll
Okay,
be
so we're-
credited.
Approving half of them or?
No, we're approving the whole of it.
All of it, yeah, which isn't all of the bill, but it's all of the.
Yeah, sure. And the issue that we have is that we can't, by statute, we can't approve credits for commercial.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
But we should be able, we're gonna treat it as residential for this, we should be okay.
Yeah, it's definitely.
So we will, so we've got a motion and a second, all in favor,
Aye.
Jim? So, yeah, we approved your.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we approved your portion of it. So
yeah, because they're tough.
thanks for coming in, we appreciate
Need the CPA and too much soon. All
it.
right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, anything else on this, on the? These are pretty. I've lost my view of those.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the adjustments for July.
Somebody second to approve the rest of the adjustments?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Jim and Tom, did you guys do that?
Yep.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on, let's see, budget review, do we have Jarrod on the line or?
He is, Brandon and him were trying to get on.
We will skip that then for now and everybody to come back to it. We'll go on to operations report, water loss, Phyllis.
Water loss is about the same as it is, the same right there. We've had quite a few leaks. We've fixed quite a few this month. So,
Okay, I've got somebody in now. I think.
Yeah, we sent Brandon the link to this movie.
Well, let's finish up the operations and then we'll circle back.
Okay.
so the jail's lift station is going in.
Okay.
Guys been out fixing leaks. We've got the Orcus caps. I've had Jarrod out trying to listen in some of the spots that the Orcus caps have been picking up. And I've noticed that some of the leaks that we've had, that the Orcus cap picked it up, you could see it's in that area, but
It's
the leak,
actually locating you
Yeah, after the leak already showed itself, but it shows the noise from the leak, so I know they're working.
So it's working.
Yeah.
So what is it, remind, what is this, porpoise cap? What is it?
You'll see them on the hydrants around town. And
Okay.
so they've got them to where maybe 2 or 3 of the caps are on hydrants. And they'll correlate with each other over the night, around 2 o'clock or so, they've got it set. Because it's less noise there in traffic. So they'll correlate back and forth, and they'll place an X in between the hydrants or on the hydrants. If you click on it, it can show you a measurement from this hydrant that there's a noise. Could be a leak, could be something else. But that gives our attention. You can go out with a listening device and try to stretch through there, see if there is something active going on.
They preemptively help locate a leak.
Yeah, trying. Yes, we're all
It-
new at it.
It hears, I use air quotes, it hears the leak through acoustics on the pipe itself between the 2 receivers. Yeah, it's pretty neat technology. I'm happy to hear that it's working well.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
My vibration.
I believe so.
Yes. So, yeah, it's just been a pretty active month, you know, fixing leaks and everything. Sewer's doing great. No complaints there. We just had more operations with residential lift stations breaking down, stuff like that. Not as many as we've had in the past, but, as far as main lift stations, they're holding out with for a couple of months. We won't have to worry about the 2 main ones, the brand new ones up and running. And the plant, the building down there, everybody needs to come down, but we gotta get the equipment put in now. What has arrived, air headers and stuff like that are going in.
Where's that?
Down at the plant. You were. Go by CDS, as you go to Bloomington, as soon as you cross the bridge, turn to the right, gravel road.
Thank you. Behind you.
Anything else?
Locates are starting to pick up. We notice mainstreams here and there, so. And I've got the new Trimble unit, so I've been trying to put the locates and mapping all the lines as I do on our utility. So, yeah, it's really sweet. It works well.
I was gonna ask you, are you getting good value as it?
Oh, yeah, yes. Every day, even more. They're adding to things that capabilities.
Phyllis, anything else?
No, the CCR went into item for approval, so I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
Awesome.
Robin, I know most of the paperwork we've got is routine, or I'm familiar with. What's this?
That
That was our item inspection. That was part of the inspection. The reply letter went in for 30 days, yes. And then he sent me an email back requesting a little additional information, signing the site sampling plan. So I redid it, a lot neater, added some things, added my name and fulfilled what his request was. Now he has a couple other things we still got accomplished. But
So for the inspection stuff, we talked about a month ago, this is our reply.
yes,
For what to do. I just need to read it.
Now that I've got the final signature on the emergency response plan, I will copy that and I've attached, you just need the last page of that. So that's ready for you to read over in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
Yes. It's paper clipped together. Thank you.
We got home.
In case we have an emergency, you must know where you are at in the line.
Very important, given what's happening in Texas.
Right. All right, very good. Anything else?
I'm good, that's fine.
Jen, any other questions?
I'm good.
Now let's switch back to, budget. Manager. We have Brandon. There you
Hey,
go.
Brandon.
Good morning.
Good
How we
morning.
doing?
No,
Good
we
to
can't
see you
hear
guys.
you yet. Hang on a second.
Okay. How about now?
No.
Nope.
He's not on mute. My volume's on, yeah.
Brandon, can you hear us?
Yep. How about now, guys? Any luck?
It should be coming out of there.
You guys getting any feedback here?
Right now, Brandon.
How about now?
You have no audio.
Still nothing?
I can hear you guys.
No. Hear us.
Testing.
If you wanna call me on my cell phone, I can put it on the speaker.
That would be fine. Um,
Technical.
Hey, Brandon, can you hear me? You wanna call me on my cell phone? I'll put it on
Oh,
speaker.
wait, I can hear
We not
you.
heard it.
Try again.
Hello?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Technology is great when it works. Well, good to see you guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Nathan, thanks for getting me looped in here. Just yeah, we'll just talk about the June reports. I'm assuming that does everyone have a copy of that I had distributed? I think it was yesterday. So we can go ahead and walk through those. Would you like me to share my screen and kind of follow along, or you guys just want to follow along on your papers? Either way is fine with me.
I think we could probably just follow along with the papers.
Great. Okay. So, we're here at about the halfway point. So, we can kind of just see where the water and wastewater utilities are. Something else we can discuss, after we look at this budget report is, the fire protection project. Jarrod had passed along some info to me, so just kind of wanted to get your all feedback on that as well, just to make sure that we're on the right track. My understanding is that I guess between now and the next meeting, I'd like to set up another meeting to discuss some of those options. Jarrod had mentioned, some different scenarios and things. So, I just want to we haven't done too much work on that, but just want to make sure that we're heading in the right direction for that meeting. But anyways, back to this budget report. So if we just go ahead and take a look at the water utility first on page 2 at the bottom, just say see special purpose report, page 2 at the bottom there. That's going to be the cash and investments for the water utility. So, we can see that it seemed like in previous months it had been, there kind of, it looked like this kind of was the story, I guess, in both utilities, that there'd been some expenses up front, insurance and water and sewer, sludge hauling specifically in sewer and things like that, to where as the months go on, these averages or percentages are kind of averaging out, as we go on. So we can see the cash has, still decreased from 2024. Looking at the long-term debt, as of now, as of today, The payments on the 2015 and the 2018 bonds have been made. At the date of this report through the end of June, looks like only the 2015 bonds had been made. Those are July 1 payments. So just kind of depends on when that cash is exchanged. It was, exchanged on the 2015 bonds, but not on the 2018 bonds. So, as of now, for the next report, we'll see all the bond payments have been made. Something that Jarrod mentioned was we wanted to go ahead and list just just a little bit of description on each of those loans. It seems like, that is a common question. So we did, put for the 2010 loan, the Freeman Kelly Hill project, and then the refunding bonds of 2015. If anyone would knows what happened in 1977 and 1995, I'd be happy to update the report for that info. That's just based on what was in Gateway Online. So, I don't know what those projects were for, but we do know that it was a refunding for those two specific projects. And then lastly, there were some waterworks capital improvements in 2018. Again, for future months, happy to make some changes there, but we wanted to just give a bit more context as to what those loans are actually for and what you're paying on each year. Are there any questions on that page 2?
Our wastewater treatment plant. I don't know about the 77.
77, I think, with water, because I know there's mapping that is as-built for 1977 for 135 north, all the way down through town and going out Old 46.
Okay.
So that's a possibility it was for water.
Okay.
Well, Robin, if you've got any input on those, feel free to shoot me an email after this meeting when you get a chance, and we can put a bit more description on those projects. That way, for the next report, we can list that info if that works.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I'll look at all the updated water prints and see anything that was done in 1977 as far as mapping.
Yeah, just then that way moving forward, we know obviously what those are for. That way we can kind of avoid those questions. But do appreciate your insight on that. I wasn't quite sure where to start to find that info from then.
David, did you have a question?
I was asking, what was somebody said something about 81. Did you know, did anybody say?
No, not 1981.
Okay. You don't know.
I
Was it
don't
the
know.
95?
I'll look for there was a main relocation down by Green Valley. That might be it too. I'll have to look and see what the date is. I might be able to find a lot of this. on the
Yeah.
mapping.
1995 rings a bell because there's wastewater treatment plant as-built from 1998. So they're close enough in years that they've got to be correlated. Right. Anyway, moving on, Brandon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The digest.
So we can go ahead and go to page 3 of the report. This is going to compare the budget to the 6 months ended. Just kind of some high level points here. If we're looking at total operating and total operating receipts and disbursements, we're right under that 50% mark. Again, I would expect there to be some pretty significant collections on the water utility here in Q3. That's going to be where you're using the bulk of your water. Obviously, these percentages are based on a 12-month period, whereas the water utility, the water usage is seasonal. And then it's going to kind of be the same thing for sewer as well, at least on the revenue side. So the 6 months ended looking at 24 to 25. There's been a bit of an increase, which makes sense. The rates did increase at January. So, we can see that that's working. And it was I don't remember the exact percentage off the top of my head, but I know it was 2 or 3%. So that seems reasonable. And then over on the budget side for the operating disbursements, we have seen some pretty significant increases in the budget from 24 to 25, looking at it was about $650,000 of operating, at this point last year. Here we're at 725,000. Looks like purchase water had gone up, materials and supplies. I know I'd heard you all at the beginning before I got on that Zoom call out or the Zoom link here. I was actually on YouTube listening in, so I did hear there was kind of some conversations about the water utility specifically. I had some I think I heard main breaks and some things. So that all would make sense. Bottom line, that 48.6%, we're pretty close on target to what we were budgeting for. Again, below the line there, below the net operating receipts, we have the bond principal and interest payment. Those will be made fully, by the next report that we put together that will include the July 1 payments. And then not too many other capital additions. There was obviously a lot more in 24 that was kind of offset by the bond proceeds. That I believe that was the bond anticipation note. So that kind of offset some of those capital additions in 2024. The money was received and then paid out. So that's kind of how it's presented here on this statement. Are there any other questions on the 6 months for the water utility?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. We'll go ahead and skip forward a couple pages here. Pages 4 and 5, of course, have the detail that rolls into those statements. That's always good info just to kind of see where some of those specific line items, what's getting booked where, and kind of where some of those expenses are coming from. It's right off of Keystone. Pages 6 and 7 of the report, just the combined debt service. So again, those July 1 payments will have been made. We'll go ahead and go to the wastewater utility. Let's look at page 8 of the report. This is going to be the utility plant and service, cash and investment, and long-term debt on the wastewater utility. So here at June of 2025, the cash and investments is starting to creep back from where it was in previous months. I think sludge hauling was kind of the big ticker item that we've talked about over the last few months, is kind of a lot of sludge that expense that had been kind of upfront. So that's starting to even out a bit. Operating fund is down. Looks like about $65,000. Bond and interest fund is being funded appropriately. Again, on the long-term debt at the bottom of that page, there's two portions of that there on those 24 bonds. There's revenue bonds and refunding revenue bonds. So the 24 bonds, those were for the recent wastewater treatment project. The other portion of that project, for that funding package last year, was the refunding of the 2010 A bonds, which was for a wastewater treatment plant expansion. That is, what we were able to gather on that 2010 project. Again, Robin, like the water utility, if you had any other additional info on the wastewater utility, if we can, get this a little more specific for next meeting, that would be helpful. For kind of what would be some info that we could put there underneath that long-term debt just to have as a note for future reports. On the refunding piece, just a reminder that the reason why those 2810 A's bonds were refunded was because it was part of a 0% financing package with SRF. So that's there's no better way to refund money than to not pay interest on it. So that all worked out well, obviously. So any questions on page 8 of the wastewater the portion of the report before we move on to page 9, which will kind of just tell the operating receipts and disbursements?
Nope, we're good.
All right, appreciate it. Go ahead and look at page 9 here. Start here with the operating receipts at the top. Looks like we're pretty close on point with really close to that 50% mark in wastewater. Again, the wastewater is going to be billed on the water usage, so would anticipate the months of June, July, and August for that to provide some additional revenue, whereas January, February, and March not as much because of that water usage here in the summer. Looking at the receipts comparing 2024 to 25, this time last year, the receipts were $765,000, whereas this year it's 900,000. So there was an increase in between, during 2024 last year, that was to help pay for those bonds on this new wastewater treatment plant project. And then there was a small increase at the beginning of the year, to help afford the budget that we projected for 2025. So whereas on the water utility, there was a small increase in revenues, there's obviously been a bit more of an increase in revenues because there was also an additional increase, that was in 24. I believe that was somewhere in the range of 20 to 25%. I want to say 24%, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But I do recall that there was an increase that was designed to pay the principal down on those new bonds. Looking at the operating disbursements, there's been some pretty significant increases in operating, particularly sludge removal. We can see that one is about $131,000 through the end of 2025. Everything else seems to be pretty consistent. Obviously, we expect to see increases in salaries and benefits, purchase power that typically, will increase as well. We're at about 58% here on the budget, so that's kind of where we're at here in 6 months. Again, I think that if there's less sludge removal here in the latter half of the year, then we could see, that percentage start to even out. That's kind of where we're at here on the operating side. Below the line there, we have the non-operating receipts and disbursements. Principal payments being made on those, new revenue and refunding revenue bonds. The previous year, around this time, that's when those previous bonds had been refunded, hence why you'd see almost $3 million of principal payment in that previous year, which got offset by the bond proceeds refunding. So we can see the bond proceeds have been coming in, and that has been washing out of the construction fund. On the previous page, on page 8, that construction fund stays at zero, where that money comes in and then comes out, and that the money coming in is the draws on the bond. The money coming out is going to be the capital outlays related to the project. So we can see that those amounts are offsetting. Also, we can see there's now the loan payment, which was on that recent loan from that was split between water and wastewater. Ending cash and investments, has decreased from year end, but has increased from where we were last year, right around this time. Those are some of my comments and observations on page 9. Are there any comments or questions on that, on the wastewater utility?
Just one question,
Sure.
on the engineering fees, I noticed, 6 month, last year was 79,200.
Yep.
Nothing this 6 month period.
There might be some engineering fees in the contract services. I'd be happy to sort through that some more. I think it just kind of depends on how that all gets booked on the Keystone side. Specifically, that 79,200. It was difficult to track, but I think there was, if I remember correctly, that was an adjustment that we made last year because there was a specific invoice that amounted exactly to 79,200. I don't think that the engineering fees are up that much, and that was probably related to the project from last year, all the engineering that went into the wastewater utility.
Could that be a sort of a refund? So I know some of the engineering fees got paid out of the operating fund at the early stages of this project, and then they were essentially reimbursed to the operating fund from the bonds. Is that possible, Brandon?
Yeah, so I don't remember, that was Jarrod working on that, but if there was a reimbursement resolution, then that would have been reimbursed. But I mean, if you guys want to wait just a minute, I could look through the the detail and see if there's any more info on that. I'd be happy to do that.
Bring an answer next month too.
Yeah, I think we can, don't do it now. We can.
Yeah, we get rid.
I remember that conversation from last year too, but just, look at it and see, and we can report on it next month.
Yep, I'll make a note here to check on that, and then also to check on year-to-date engineering.
Okay.
Typically on these reports, I will just compile what has been recorded in Keystone. Actually, I think if we can look at pages 10, page 10 and page 11, looks like the lines that the clerk's office use are attorney, contract services, custodian. Obviously, that wouldn't include engineering fees. So engineering fees is not it's not a Keystone item. So I'm going to guess that anything that's engineering fees is going to be lumped into that contract services. I will make a note here to check on the 79,200 and then make a note as well to just look into that contract services, and in future reports, I can go ahead and break that out as a, kind of a separate line item. Happy to do that.
Is that engineering not under 3 lines under contract services? What is that?
What are you looking at? Page 10?
Page 10.
Page 10.
I assume this is a Keystone report.
Yeah, I see that sewage engineering. I'm not sure what they put in there. It's only been $600 through the end of 2025, which I'm guessing is probably related to something different. I'll go ahead and just look into this, guys, and on my next report, I'll make sure to kind of, I guess, scour through the detail for January through July, and then I can go ahead and just mark out and list it in that line item on the income statement. It just really just kind of depends on where that all gets booked on Keystone.
Yeah, and I guess just make sure it's in the right category.
Yep.
I think Nathan's right that there was an adjustment. Just to make sure we're accounting for it correctly. Yeah, we don't remember. Yes. All right.
All right, so I don't have any other comments on wastewater.
I've got a question on something.
Not a question, just. for the
Sure.
5+, if you look at page 9, I'm trying to think global, 40,000 feet. I look at page 9, and it says that our income operating receipts is $1.8 million. And out of the $1.8 million, we spend expenses, disbursements, 1.1, and we have net operating receipts of 750,000. The 750,000 net is used to service debt. And so on the water side, out of the gross amount of receipts we have, we spend 60% on operating expenses and 40% to debt. Okay, now look at page 3. On the operating receipts of $1.7 million, we spend $1.5 million to cover expenses and have 200,000 to service debt. So out of our gross operating receipts, we spend 88% of the income we get from water bills and stuff. 88%, almost 90% is spent on covering operating expenses, and only 12% is spent on servicing debt. So again, for my benefit or for our benefit, if we're talking about water improvements that we need to make at some point in time, when we look at the wastewater, where of our operating receipts, 40% is going to service debt. What's that debt? It's the new plant. And so over here on the water side, I guess my message is we don't have much debt, and we don't require much servicing on that. And so the ratios between wastewater and water are different for obvious reasons. It's just, I'm not asking a question, I'm just telling you what I observe. It's interesting to me.
And we're gonna screw all that up with the water project.
Well, or another way of saying it is the people that are paying for the water rates, people are paying for their water bill, only 90% of it is just to keep us afloat and only 12% on debt.
Right.
For what it's worth.
No, that's a good. I think it plays well into hopefully the next part of the conversation on.
Exactly.
All right, we're good.
All right, thank you. And I saw on the agenda, it sounds like we can wrap up the budget. I saw on the agenda some discussion on the water side. So should that happen now, or is there going to be a couple items and then we can touch on that?
I say let's just talk about it now. Got you. If everybody's okay with that.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go and talk about that.
Yeah, so what looks like what we had, I'd put some numbers together, and then Jarrod, I believe, had discussed them. Basically, just looking at those estimated project costs on that fire protection project, and then coming up with some different scenarios on how that could possibly be allocated to the customers in the, I guess I would call it the service area. So what I wanted to do was just kind of first run through Jarrod's notes that he gave to me. I'm going to be putting together some numbers here, from today until I guess the next meeting. I believe there's going to be a special meeting between now and the August Utility Service Board meeting to get some feedback on this. So just kind of some of my notes that I had here. Just wanted to make, I was going to look at in-town rates aligning with out-of-town rates, how much money that would generate, and then, how that would impact this project. Also was going to take a look at calculating fire protection rate based on EDUs. Would just need the number of EDUs in that area based on meter size. I can work with Nathan on that. And then financing for this project. We're going to look at some different options on what would make sense here. And then factoring in water loss, if there's any reductions in purchase power, that would be an expense adjustment. And we could look at some estimates there. So that was my notes here on kind of what we're looking at to get prepared for our next meeting. Just wanted to make sure that all aligned with what you all had talked about at your last meeting.
Yes, it does. Brandon, I think one of the things that Jarrod and me and Nathan talked about was putting together those potential fire downtown surcharges and seeing what the appetite of that was to the board. And, basically putting more of the responsibility of payment of that debt service on the people that are going to benefit the most.
Yep.
I think that was a big conversation we had.
Yeah.
So yes, we need to have, Jarrod was going to try to, you guys were going to try to get some sort of answer to us here, maybe in the next 2 weeks. And we'd like to have a special meeting, probably a week or two prior to the next week.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, that all sounds good, Dan. Appreciate that. Yeah, we can start pulling some numbers together on that, and then here in sounds like the next couple weeks we can get a special meeting
The next meeting's the
planned
15th.
and
We can do the 1st or the 8th for a special meeting. Up to you guys.
Yeah, is the August 1st work for everybody?
That's fine. The next.
Our next meeting. Oh, when is our next? meeting?
That's
The
the
18th.
15th of August.
8th.
Is it the 8th or the 15th?
15th.
I was saying the 8th and you're saying 15th.
That's got it, the one here.
Are we doing it on our next meeting is the date, that is the second Friday.
Our next meeting should be on the 8th. Our regular.
Maybe that's too.
Well, I think it's because the town council meeting on that month is on.
Oh, okay, so you're basing it on,
21st.
So is it the 15th?
if we're going with the town council schedule, yes, it would be the 15th.
Okay.
So can we do this special meeting to talk about the water project on August 1st at the same time? Sure. We'll be the 1st and the 15th.
Okay. That works.
But I'll be here for the record.
So you'll list it.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll meet on the 1st, but Alicia will not be there. She could be okay with that. And so let's plan on, does that work for you? Does that work for you guys? We can figure it out. So we'll do the special meeting on August 1st, same time, same place. Does that work on the town calendar?
Yes.
Okay. And then our next regular meeting will be August 15th. All right, that works. And that gives you enough time to get the numbers that we need.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. So I got August 1st for special meeting, and then are we moving? Did I hear you say we're moving that regular meeting from the 8th to the 15th?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know if we're moving it or we're putting it, but it's gonna be on the 15th. Whether that's a move or the date scheduled, we're not sure, but
Okay.
It'll be the 15th.
it'll be the 15th.
Right.
Then, Brandon, if you can get with Jarrod, I'd like for you two to meet with Nathan and I prior to that, August 1st meeting.
Yep. Very good.
Oh, you already got, oh, never mind, we already got that set up.
Yeah, that's set up.
We're good, that's right, I thought.
Yep. Is that what you guys had sent that email a couple days?
Yeah,
Right.
no, we're good.
No, that's just a meeting with Pro and us to
That's just us.
get ready for your meeting.
Right.
We gotta live here.
Getting the story straight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
right.
We're all on the same page.
Are we?
All right, anything else then? Anything
Yeah.
else, Brandon? All
I
right,
think we're good.
moving on, wastewater rehabilitation project.
So there is a report in your board packet, for our monthly progress meeting. Progress continues to be made from Michelin start, rehabilitation on the manholes and the, laterals is ongoing. Salt Creek Lift Station, and the wastewater treatment plant lift station wet wells were, coated. Duke Energy has installed poles and a transformer at Salt Creek Lift Station. We're simply waiting on them to run the underground lines on their main transformer, I will say. At the wastewater treatment plant, the digester complex structure had the ceiling installed and the roof is installed up to the ceiling panels. The subcontractor had a supply conflict and delayed the installation of the roofing panels themselves, but they have since been installed. Equipment continues to be delivered to the site and prepared for installation. I think it would be important to inform you that there is a delay in getting the sludge tanks in service because of some electrical equipment that got delayed. We need the electrical equipment to run the blowers, to aerate the sludge, and that's what's holding us up.
How long?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. So I know we said the sludge should be online in August. It's probably going to be late August, maybe the first week or two of September before that can actually happen. And then the planned work for the generator foundation at the wastewater treatment should happen July, August. So things are proceeding. We're getting close to the December substantial completion date. And at the moment, we don't have any concerns with meeting that date. Contractor has no concern with that date, so we're in a good place.
Gas, we ran to the Salt Creek
Thank you.
yesterday.
Thank you. So we're in a good spot here. With that, the contractor submitted pay application 15, which was approved and moved on to Jarrod and Brenda for process. Any questions on the treatment plant project? There's some photos attached at the end of that report for your perusement. And David, if you would like to go visit the wastewater treatment plant sometime, we'd love to give you a tour.
I'll schedule that.
Okay. All I have.
With regard to schedule for which dates, we as in the USB and our dates, we're trying to hit. If they needed 2 more weeks or another month, or something, we're not jammed up against the wall. It just takes some more time.
From a regulatory standpoint, no.
That's all I meant. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
we don't have to hard
That's-
date ourselves.
Okay, yeah, that's the town's position. That's a really good place to be in, yes.
Yeah, it's really
Well, we want them to get done and
Right.
Right.
I'm not. I just was wondering if we have a.
There is no regulatory deadline that's hard to pass now.
I know they want to get done.
You bet.
Good.
Is there anything you want to?
No, I was just looking at your on-call services, or any of those, do we need any discussion on any of those, or? Did you need anything from us on these, or did anybody have any questions like that?
Not close, we're getting, not on. Them on,
I don't think we've made any progress.
no, yeah.
No, I think that's a placeholder at this moment until the commissioners have really indicate they want to approach the town.
Mhm.
We're pretty much hands off.
We've made them aware that there's an option to connect to our, so. And it sounds like, I think somebody was telling me that Elmsburg's funding is kind of falling apart, so they're in trouble too, rather than Helmsburg's not able to get their funding. I don't think Helmsburg is as easy as my understanding is Helmsburg's not as easy for us to help.
No, it's a little more longer.
It was conceptualized in the sanitary sewer master plan though.
Yeah.
Up and down between.
Yeah. The novel is still.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Old business. What do we figure out on the Red Barn sewer flow meter?
So we found that there is a place that we could install a manhole with a flow meter.
Okay.
And meter the flow through that sanitary line. Now, with that, we would have to remember when we're billing to subtract one customer off that flow meter. I don't necessarily think that's a big deal for the billing department. So we could install a manhole with a flow meter and run power and a signal wire to communicate with that flow meter. Adjacent to the Parkview lift station as it sits today. We think that cost is somewhere in the $20,000 to $25,000 range.
Okay.
Simply because it's more involved than just setting a manhole around the existing line. We have to run power to it, communication to it. That's, very conduit, et cetera, ongoing. We think it's somewhere around $25,000. It would be entirely up to the board as to whether you feel that is an option to continue to pursue.
Do we know, anticipated revenues off that?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the thought process is that the user that we would look to add this man meter to meter is an RV park. And correct me if I'm wrong, Robin, the potential may exist to contribute more sanitary flow than water purchased was the concern. Especially if there's an RV dumping station there for commercial use.
See, what one thing that would be, just give us a scale, is if Phyllis not today or this second, but if Phyllis can tell us what that account generates on the water and sewer bill.
I think the problem is there's no RVs there right now, so it's not, even if we took a look at what they're using now, it's not indicative of once it opens at capacity, so.
Right. Well, I get that. All I meant was if their water sewer bill was $10,000 a month, that's $120,000 a year, 20,000 is a small piece. If their water and sewer bill today is $100 or $200 a month or $500 a month, that's only 6,000. You can tell that even if you collected water for the sewer, it's going to take you a long time to get the 20,000 back. It could be cheaper to just live with what you have. That's all I was getting at. I don't know the scale, what they pay.
And it would potentially be in your best interest to maybe not do anything right now because there's not a lot of RVs there. They don't have a publicly available RV dumping station. But in the future, if we notice one's added, then maybe we revisit the conversation.
I guess what
The other thing also, sorry,
no, go ahead.
the other thing is, it's been handed through a lot of people, and it's not really, it's at a fall through history. So you might just want to see if it takes hold, or if it just goes by the way again.
Guess what I do?
That's a good point.
Well, also it's in flux.
I think my thought on it is we're okay with it. Let's just hold off on, we know what it's gonna cost. Let's not really do anything with it now, but I think the next time somebody wants to put in a new RV park, we should require them. I don't know whether that's adding to the ordinance or something, but I think we should consider requiring a new park when we put it forward and move through it. I think so too. I want to get it off our agenda so we can put that in. So I guess what I would propose is that we don't do anything with Red Barn now, keep an eye on it. But you either add an ordinance or make a note that the next RV park comes on, we can require them to. If everybody's okay with that, and then let's get this off our agenda because it's been here for.
Okay.
I'll second the proposals.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Not sure we need to vote on that or not. All right. Is that okay with you, Robin?
Yes.
I don't remember who brought up the flow meter in the first place, and I don't want to like just disregard the idea, but I don't want to, at this point in what they're trying to do there, 20 grand might just wipe them out if we ask them to pay for it.
Right.
I don't know why we would pay for it since they're not using it. So, yeah. All right, moving on then. SmartAqua report.
Well, I did get back, or Leo did get back with me. He's done with the second calibration.
Okay.
And so we're ready to, Robin and us, we need to set up a meeting and go through that. So I'll get with him, get some dates, and I'll get with you, Robin. We'll get something set up.
Would it be possible, do you think, to do that prior to our August 1st meeting so that we have some of that information in front of us during that?
Yes. In fact, I was thinking maybe Nathan and I come down a little early and sit with you and get Elio on the computer and on a Zoom call and let's talk, and that way you'll know what's going on. Or we can do it if he's not available, we'll do it before that.
I would like to be invited to that. If
All right.
possible, just I'd like to.
Absolutely.
Anybody on board?
Would we do that on the same day we do the special meeting?
We could. We could do it. Yeah, do it August 1st. You want to do it during that meeting or before the meeting?
Let's do it before, so.
Like at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that way if somebody wants to come to it, they can, if they don't.
All right.
So we're saying first at 9 o'clock.
First at 9 o'clock. I'll get that set up.
Okay. Awesome, thank you. Do we have any additional discussion on the water projects at this point, or we're kind of,
No, I think we'll just, we'll kind of wait to see where Chrome gets with some of these numbers.
Okay.
And then, you know, we'll go from there.
awesome. Stormwater, do we have anything to discuss on stormwater yet?
Well, I think that she has, of the utility, I have most of the storm lines located. And we have some pictures of the damage stuff that I can see. I'm not really sure what you guys were for. What it information wise.
Yeah, I guess my question is, everybody chime up, I'd like to see what. I don't think any of us have an understanding of what it needs, what needs to be repaired, what's the problems are, what we need to do with it. I guess we kind of were, we kind of inherited stormwater, and I don't think any of us have any idea what you need. So
It's really bad place.
Right.
We have the stormwater master plan. But it's like,
I don't know how much of evaluation was done on the physical infrastructure in that plan.
did you guys see that plan or lead?
No, we did not. We reviewed it, but it is truly a planning document, not so much a infrastructure evaluation document. It's probably wouldn't hurt to have an evaluation on the infrastructure done to document its condition.
my thoughts on that, like, problem with the sewer. Having cameras in the line. I think that would be a good way to go, have a camera line.
Camping it would be neat to see
Yeah.
because
Some of those
cover
covered,
the
that's
boilers
why I don't know if they go.
So then I guess what I'm gonna suggest is let's table this until the next meeting and then let's get a quote for you guys to do a evaluation of it. Or some kind of engineer evaluation of where we are and what we need to do on it, because I don't know that we can
You
sort
got
that
some
out.
pictures of it,
You know.
destroyed there.
So I think we need to understand what the scope of this is and how much money we're gonna need to fix it.
I agree with that. I'd like to know what the
Yeah.
stormwater thing is about.
So I would. Let's table it until our next meeting, and we will ask you guys to do something. All right. We'll look at it. All right. Well, is that okay? Jim, are you good with that?
The only comment I have is, since we have $0 for anything, perhaps we have the cart in front of the horse, meaning we got to figure out. See, I don't even know where the money came from to do what stormwater work we did.
Yeah.
Before it got on our side of the fence, and so I don't know if we have $20,000 a year to spend, $100,000 a year to spend, any money, I don't know where, we don't have any revenue, it seems like. You're right, it'd be nice to know where we are status wise, but even if we, where does the money come from, or, I mean, we need to get a handle on funding it.
Yeah, that's a good, I think that's good, and I don't know whether that's a Bill's question or,
Excuse me.
or a Crone question, so I assume it's some taxes, we're gonna have to put a town council.
I think it's a question, of county council. Somebody, they've been funding it, somebody's.
Let's start with, we can start with getting an estimate for those costs
Yes.
to have it reviewed.
Yes.
And then we can ask town council, this can't come out of our sewer and water budget. So we're
Yes.
one of us to pay for this one.
That works for me.
Is that
Good idea.
Start, we can have for $100,000 or something to budget to get us going. So.
Yeah.
You've been way too agreeable.
I think that is fine for the-
You know, all right?
Young and Restless is on at 12:30.
All right, anything else we need to discuss today? Shockingly short meetings. Absolutely.
I'm Dina Patrick. I live here in town. And I know that the last meeting we talked about the fire protection system and potential cost to customers and how it would need to be the customers who are affected by it would be the ones that would be paying for it. So I know you're gonna have a special meeting. And I assume that you're gonna talk about things like that because one of the remarks made last time was it could be as much of a 75% increase for the customers here in town, and that's a lot of money. You know, I'm considering when I moved here 34 years ago, I paid $27 a month for water and sewage, and of course, it's gone up during the years, but, you know, that was a family of four, now it's just two old people paying $105 a month for water and sewage, and I know we need it, maybe more so with the shops and how they're located, but, Alan also talked about insurance rates and maybe Alicia looking into insurance.
Yeah, that too.
Yes, for you ladies, that'd be great.
What was that?
Yeah, so I just, like, so at the next regular USB meeting, maybe you'll have something
Yep.
more concrete to present as far as funding and things like that.
Yes, in this special meeting where we're gonna discuss this, that's open to the public also.
I'm gonna be out.
All right.
What was your name now?
Dina, Patrick.
Thank you.
But yes, at the next meeting, we should be able to discuss that, but you can, I'll certainly fill you in on the special meeting.
Pet.
Yes, Dave.
There's $30,000 for drainage in the CCD fund. Where all the money comes.
So we have 30K to start.
Yes,
Okay.
unless we've spent some.
Okay.
No.
I love it. You know what that, never did that. Master plan thing. Teacher. Right. That's where it came out of that. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Nick. All right, anything else we want to discuss today? All right.
For Dina's benefit,
Are you Rick's wife?
Yeah.
Why?
one point I was
Let's make sure we have
making,
the conversation. We make sure.
we're just trying to sort things out. And it seems now that we have a fairly rough idea of the scale of the improvements that we need and have dollars put on that. And from when we had 3 years ago, a master plan done, our consultants now have refreshed it and given us a number, and the scale is counting zeros. It's more than 100,000. It's less than 100 million. It's in the range of $10 million, counting zeros. And then the next, so now what we're thinking about is where do you get the money? How would you pay for it? Who should pay for it? And it's important to understand that on our water system, on our sewer system, we have 800 customers. Where are they? They're in town because that's the way the gravity is going to flow to the plant. On the water system includes 1,400 customers. So there are 600 more customers on water than there are on sewer. And the reason is because the water comes from Belmont and goes all the way to Bean Blossom. And so when we said it could be 50 to 70% increase, it's important to know that that number would be based, when someone says that, they're meaning the whole 1,400 customers would incrementally pay 70% more. And one question is if you're on Freeman Bridge, why do you want to pay for? And so the message I would have for you is it's just a beginning to think, and I wouldn't want, the last thing it seems to me to be needy is for everyone to get excited when we're just talking about what ifs and just thinking, as opposed to we have a plan, and wouldn't want anybody to get too far in front. If someone said to me, hey, we heard at the thing it was a 70% increase. No, we just said that's the scale that it could be. We're just trying to think about it.
Oh, I know, I understand, I just wanted to make sure that from the last meeting to this one.
But you're right. But you're right. If you're paying $100 for water, I'm paying about 150 for 2,500 gallons, and 70. I think my last bill was $125. 75 for sewer, 50 for water. And you're right, that would go up $30 a month.
Okay, thank you.
And so that matches up. The bigger question is on the people that, commercial accounts that use large volumes of water. It'd be more painful for them. I just have to not go to, I just can't get
But they have the.
$35. I can't go out and eat one night a week. So.
All right.
I just didn't want it to get, I don't want it to get out, everybody talking about something that we're not even ready to talk about. But to answer your question too, we're gonna talk in 2 weeks, right? 1st of August, we're gonna learn more.
We wanna try to figure out how we can get what we have to have without minimize the impact of the repair, but that's a question that we have to resolve from.
Just trying to understand what it means.
Less than the blow.
All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.
I'll say that.
Awesome. All right, thank you, everybody.
Second.
Jim seconded.
Nathan, don't turn the